Hello there, I'm Franklin Taggart, and I am a client navigator for the Larimer SBDC. And the person that I'm going to be introducing you to is our bookkeeping consultant, Bonnie Johnson. And Bonnie is a specialist in our office who helps people, especially like first-time business owners and solopreneurs and extremely small businesses, get their QuickBooks set up. Hello, Bonnie. How are you today?
Hi, Franklin. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I have a few questions for you. The first one is tell us a little bit about your background in bookkeeping and how that turned into your role at SBDC.
Okay. Um, I have a small company that does daily money management. So that is, on the one hand, I help people with their personal finances, like making sure the bills get paid. And I also handle a few small businesses because a lot of people have a rental property or a small side business or a hobby. Um, and I have a bookkeeping certification from Front Range Community College. And I really wanted to work with a lot of different companies, kinds of companies. But I didn't think I was going to, be able to, in my lifetime, work with a lot of different companies. So I have found this very helpful. Um, and I should say, I help people with all kinds of ways to track their finances, not just QuickBooks.
Oh,
It's
very
not
good.
always the right solution.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you approach finding the right system for a client?
I would say I have to find out how they're doing things now, how they, if they do handle their personal finances, are they comfortable around computers and spreadsheets? Do they like doing that kind of thing? Are they detail oriented? Also, are they willing to put in the time and kind of work it takes to do your own bookkeeping? Um, and a lot of people are not, and that's great. But let's find that out sooner and find you a bookkeeper or someone to do it. Or, maybe for 6 months, we're going to do a little bit together. Um, and then we're going to get you to someone who can do it. But I found actually that doing your own books for a while really gives you a lot of confidence in understanding what do these financial statements mean. Um, you're not just doing this so you can hand it to an accountant at tax time. You're doing it so you can so those numbers tell you a story about what's going on. So the fact that you can know, huh, am I making money now? Am I able to pay myself? How much did it cost me to make that money? Do I have any money in the bank? You ought to have that at your fingertips. And so even if you're not recording that yourself or tracking things, you ought to be able to go look it up anytime you want without having to feel like you have to call your accountant or something.
So you're not only helping people learn how to keep records, you're helping them learn how to interpret the records and understand what's going on financially for themselves.
Yes. And that's hard because until we have some transactions recorded and summarized, we can't tell anything yet. But I try and get there as fast as I can. So maybe you've got a year's worth of transactions that you've just, kept the receipts for or something. I try and say, let's just take this month and then we'll see, well, did you make a profit this month? Uh, Trying to get to that report as fast as we can so you start to get some positive feedback from it. Because otherwise it's just a chore, so it should be exciting.
Well, we'd
Well,
hope so,
as the
right?
bookkeeper say.
Exciting for all the right reasons.
Yes, exactly. Sometimes the numbers tell you a story you don't want to hear. Sometimes they tell you that to make a dollar, you've got to spend $1.20. Um, but better to know that and fix it or go on to the next thing.
So, Bonnie, before people meet you for the first time, what would you like them to do to prepare for your first meeting?
You know, for our first meeting, I don't think they really need to prepare anything because we'll probably do a sort of a survey of all bookkeeping land and areas like taxes and receipts and um, software and bank accounts and things. And so uh, That way we can see what's the lay of the land and talk about what's the priority here for tackling. So at that first meeting, maybe it's just uh, be open-minded to establishing the roadmap. Now, the second meeting, if we're going to do like a one-on-one thing, then I'll be asking things like, well, could you get your bank statements from January? And, what was your last tax return so we can set your opening balances, things like that. But I think in the first one, it's more finding out what we need to do. And of course, obviously, if you have any specific questions.
Well, at the very minimum, you'll help people get things set up right from the beginning. And that's really the most important bit.
Yes.
All
I
right.
wish they would come sooner than later. Right. So,
Exactly.
I mean, as soon as people spend any money, they should be thinking about their bookkeeping. So that could be a year before they actually, quote, go into business. Um, Otherwise, there's two alarm bells that can go off that will probably bring you to me. One is it's almost tax time and you realize you don't know what to do
Right.
and give your accountant, or if you have an accountant. And the other one is you need to get a loan, and uh, the loan officer is asking you for an income statement. And you have no idea what they're talking about.
Very good, Bonnie. If you are watching this and you would like to set up an appointment with Bonnie Johnson, go to larimersbdc.org. And in the middle of the tabs, there's one called What We Do. On that tab, there is a consulting category. And on the consulting page, there are 3 boxes. One of them is for people who are scheduling their first appointment. One of them is for people who are scheduling a follow-up appointment. And then the last one is for people who have already set up their client dashboard, and you can set up an appointment there as well. Pick the one that is right for you, and go ahead and request your appointment with Bonnie. Bonnie, I'd like to just say thank you for all that you're doing for SBDC, and thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.